What does it take to run a successful and sustainable business for 20, 30, even 40 years? My host today has a wealth of wisdom, and I am so excited to share our conversation with you. Welcome back. You are listening to the Brand Gravity Show. I'm your host, psychology-driven brand strategist Kaye Putnam. And on this show, we explore the intersection between branding and psychology. One of my favorite things to do is to interview influential, successful brand visionaries who have built something successful so that we can learn from them. And our guest today is exactly that. Sue B. Zimmerman is an insightful, energetic, and in-demand online marketing educator, influencer, speaker, and no BS business coach. Sue B is a popular creative live instructor and has been named by the Huffington Post as one of the top 50 must-follow women entrepreneurs, as well as the top 50 social media marketing influencers by Top Rank Marketing and top female business influencers by Fit Small Business. Sue's blog was ranked as one of the top 10 social media blogs by Social Media Examiner. Whether she's taking a global stage or speaking at an industry conference like Social Media Marketing World or working one-on-one with her clients, Sue B is driven to help business owners leverage the power of Instagram to meet and exceed business goals. As a lifelong entrepreneur, Sue B has over 30 years of business experience, and with her extensive knowledge and implementation of social media, it's Sue B's mission to teach, mentor, and empower others. Let's jump right in. All right, so you were talking about your tenure in this industry.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. I ventured into this online education space simply because I had great success at my retail store, which is located in Massachusetts on Cape Cod, where I live now. And I had that store for 7 years, and I used and taught all social platforms prior. Like I was teaching Pinterest and
I think I remember that.
I was teaching Facebook. I mean, I was teaching everything, Animoto, like all these apps and tools and Foursquare. And I'm like, my twins, we were on vacation. I have 3 daughters and my twins were like on their phone and they weren't like, they were scrolling, that motion of the scroll. They weren't like talking and I'm like, Lila, Kira, what are you guys doing? Like, Mom, we're on Instagram. Don't get on it because then you'll start teaching it. So it was that teenager snarky, eye rolling twins. And I obviously am curious because I'm always curious about trends. And I immediately checked it out, was obsessed because I am a visual learner and thinker. I see the whole world visually. And it was just meant for my brain. So I used it from my little shop, my seaside shop on Cape Cod, and had great success. So much so that I wanted to teach others how to have success. And then I was invited to Experts Academy in California. Oh my God, I just heard my Boston accent. And, and I'm like, I went and I'm like, what is this online marketing? You can make money teaching what you know. And I'm like, I don't have to schlep my shit everywhere anymore and get inventory. And so I was really obsessed with learning and immersing myself with other kind of frontiers in the industry. And I quickly learned who the players were, who the people were to follow and connect with and invest in. And I fast paced everything because I'm relentless AF and I get what I want as quickly as I can because time is money. And so I claimed Instagram as the place that my name was going to be associated with. And I even have a YouTube video that we can link for your audience, like literally claiming that I was going to teach Instagram all over the world. And I'm like, I'm going to be this person and that person. I'm like manifesting and stating it. And I tell my clients to do this now, like stop what you're doing, state what you want, claim it, and then you have something to look back at. And I love that I have this video. I'm with my dog in the woods. I put my phone in the tree. It started raining and thundering. He jumped up in my arms and it was just like this very, momentous capture of like life before selfie sticks and, tripods, and just like really leaning into what I wanted and working so hard to get to where I am today. And we can talk more about that. But I think it's fun for your audience to hear that was the beginning.
Oh, yes. You've had a front seat into how this industry has been evolving and changing over the last decade or so. What's happening right now? Like, what are the trends that you're seeing now?
Yeah, so artificial intelligence for sure, which is really exciting and opportunistic if used correctly. So we aren't those people that quickly follow trends and jump in and start doing until we've experienced and had wins and really great case studies for our audience, which is typically women midlife and older. So we have to just tread a little slower and really be smart of how we are encouraging our students to use it as a new tool. So obviously that is the trend that is talked about on the daily everywhere. And I personally use it and love it. And I see a lot of opportunity, especially when it comes to content creation and just crossing T's and dotting I's. I'd like to say I created a new module for our coaching program all about Instagram direct messages, which I've been teaching for 10 years because I've known like as soon as it was a thing. And now it's the place where everyone hangs out. So I put together kind of a really advanced masterclass, if you will, on every nuance of every feature. And oh my gosh, there's just so much there, from video to creating calendars and order forms and things that people don't even know about. So I did go and check in with AI to make sure that the flow of my thoughts were done in a way that like is step by step. And it didn't even have all the things that I knew in it, but it had enough for me to be like, yeah, I guess I should talk about this before I talk about that. So so that's one trend. Another trend, which has been trending forever, which I really truly believe in and have always, anyone that follows me or knows me, keeping it 100% real, and video, obviously with the reels, and more than just the reels, not necessarily hopping on trending music, but original content. Your voice, your thoughts, your ideas, your knowledge, your wisdom, your experience, because you cannot hide behind that. Either you know what to say or you're copying what someone else is doing. And that is, I think, very transparent. And if anyone listens to me from an interview or from speaking and throws questions at me, you can tell I know my shit. Right?
Yes. Yes, it is so true. I am dying to ask, I'm going to depart a little bit here, but
Yeah.
as a brand strategist, I understand the real human need to evolve your brand as you grow. And I'm so curious, since you've been in business for so long, you've had this like incredible staying power with being the Instagram expert now for so many years. But how has your brand evolved from start till now?
Great question. And it's evolved a lot and it's constantly evolving. So at the very beginning, I was the face of the brand. And in time, as our business grew, and I, for 10 years, have had a partner and a CEO who's half my age and just brilliant at all the systems, the processes, the automation, the team, like running a team. And so I brought her more out into the forefront, or I should say, we have decided that it makes sense that if for people to really understand our business, like the internal way that we run and how we're different than everyone else that teaches Instagram, it's not just me that you get access to when you come in on the inside. It's my team. And my team has, everyone on my team has different skills. And so you get access to all of that. And I'm the quintessential entrepreneur with 1,000 ideas. I say, I live in organized chaos, and I'm the most energetic of all and the oldest of all of our team members, but my personality has always been part of the brand, okay? And is for sure. We have a certain color palette which has been developed over time, which you can see consistently show up on anything that you touch of ours, whether I'm speaking with a slide deck or you're on our website or you're on Instagram, wherever there's that consistency. Certain ways that we say things are consistent. We have animated GIFs, etc. But in terms of that evolution, so Morgan, who is my CEO, is now part of the avatar. So it's not just my face. Because once someone invests in our signature course, Ready, Set, Grow, and they're ready for coaching and they're ready to build a serious, sustainable online business, like I said, you get access to my team. And really, Morgan has put together all of our offerings in a very systematic way. And I want people to meet her and see her at the beginning, not once they've invested, because they're like, who is she? Is that your daughter? I'm like, no, that's my CEO. And you can see how brilliant and smart and she is. And so the two of us have been more of this kind of dynamic duo. We're even talking, we're going to be doing a podcast soon because everyone always loves hearing us talk. And the way she thinks things through is so different than how I think things through, but it's great perspective. And we're at different phases of life too. So that is exciting. But the branding has always remained the same in that I am a no BS. I drop F-bombs and swear and won't change the way I am for anybody because it's been working. And I am not a people pleaser. I am authentically who I am. And either you're in alignment and you're attracted to that energy or you're not. And that's okay.
I love that. It sounds like you guys are the classic visionary integrator duo.
Yes. Oh yeah. We've read Attraction. Yeah.
Yeah. And clearly it's working because you just told me when we got on the call that you just got back from 5 months of traveling. So clearly you're empowering your team to be the brand on your behalf, even when your context is changing, your personal context is changing.
So I think this is important for people to hear. So when you create an online business that gives you work-life freedom, travel is definitely my top of the list of all luxury in life. And so my husband and I took a trip of a lifetime and we were in 7 continents, 25 airplanes, from Thailand to Kenya to Chile to Argentina. Dubai, New Zealand. We had this amazing 5-star experience, and Morgan really was excited and happy for me and literally held down the fort. And I only did what was necessary for our coaching clients, meaning I was in Slack when I could get there. I was always on a different time zone, and I would be on our coaching calls no matter what time of the day it was. I brought my light. It's all about being in good light, even if it's dark, especially when I was in Kenya and like in a tent. But it was beautiful. And it was really a testament to what we teach and proof of that concept. So for people to see me living life full on and traveling, and all I needed was Wi-Fi, it really can happen, because you hear so many people that have this nomad lifestyle making money or talking about making money. And you really sometimes wonder if they're just pulling strings or if they're really living that life. And so, I was able to really enjoy, and then landed in La Jolla for 2 months because I still don't like the cold weather on the East Coast. And I just got back 2 days ago. So I'm adjusting to the East Coast time zone.
Yes. And that is no joke. Yeah. A lot of my listeners know this about me as well, but I got to run my business from Tennessee and then Hawaii and then Italy. My husband was in the military, so we were all over the place for the last decade. And that's one of the greatest gifts of online business and of building a brand, frankly. It gives you a platform and an asset to do all of that, which is amazing.
Yeah. And I just want to share as well, like I have 3 daughters. So those twins I talked about that were teenagers are now online business owners and have watched me do what I do. And they do not want a job. And so they're both in Hawaii right now on different islands, but they travel everywhere, and they're in their 20s, and they've created this way of living and having an online business and understanding it. And I'm telling you, if you're doing this in your 20s and even your 30s, you are set up for life because every year builds from the previous year. You don't become, a 6, 7 figure, multiple 7 figure business overnight. We're talking, we're 11 years in, but you can get there if you continue to really stay focused on your market.
Yes, mic drop. I feel like I have a little bit of like ADHD brain, so I want to go in 17 different directions, but let me hone myself in here. I was just having a conversation yesterday, speaking of sustainability, speaking of growing over time, about what do you do? And I'm sure you have a ton of examples to share since you've been in business for so long. What do you do in those moments where business feels a little bit slower, or you really just want to invest in getting results to get to that point where your business is sustainable? Does that make sense? Like, what do you do
Yeah.
in the slow points in your business that keeps you going?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, we did have a somewhat challenging year last year with the economy being what it was. And at one point, we had our ads shut down and really struggled a little bit more than before. And so, what we did, we looked at our expenses, we looked at all of the software that we use, and we made some smart decisions about what we really weren't using anymore. Like, we really got lean with everything. And it was a great way to audit. We also got really focused on our messaging and our offerings and our email campaign. We do have a copywriter in that we work with remotely from India who's amazing, and made sure that we were talking to our audience,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, and like when I say talking to our audience, it's kind of like I find that stories always sell. So Raj would be like, Sue, we need some stories from you. So in our Slack channel, I would spew off I have stories for days. I could talk about anything, you name it. So I came up with some good stories for the emails. So we kind of really made sure that the emails were a little bit more personalized. And like I said, just did a complete audit of everything. And we're back on the upswing. We have a pretty significant ad spend, and even acquiring leads was getting really pricey. I do a lot of organic outreach, especially with Instagram lives. I always bring people into the funnel there. So I was going live more frequently. There's a lot of ways to do things free, obviously. I think I heard one of your reels or one of your videos where you were like, reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, reach out to your previous clients and customers, and ask them if they know anyone who needs X, Y, and Z. And I loved hearing that because I always say to people, even if you are not, your friends and family aren't your target audience, the more you consistently show up and serve and share what you do, they'll remember you. You'll stay top of mind. And when someone says, do you know an Instagram educator? I just started this new company. Everyone's telling me to get on Instagram. You'll stay top of mind. And so it's the people that they know. And I say this all the time. And this is why it's really important to say what you do loud and proud, no matter where you are, whatever social setting. And I don't even say I teach Instagram marketing. I say I help women make money online. That's it. Because any 10-year, anybody can understand that. And then the curiosity is there. Really? How do you do that? So then I get to open up a conversation how we do it versus I teach Instagram marketing, because the conversation could just end there, right? Because you always you want to go deeper in conversation.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, it's such a great reminder. And thank you for underscoring that. It's like sometimes it's just about getting back to the basics of claiming what you do, like you said in the beginning of this conversation, and having more conversations about that so that more opportunities can bubble up. Yeah, I love that.
Kaye, I always say that the reason you need to create compelling, awesome content, and that's like what we teach at the very beginning, but even before that, you have the right bio, you have your content buckets, and they need to be in alignment, because if you aren't consistently showing up and speaking to your audience, you don't have an opportunity to have a conversation. And conversations can happen in the comment thread of a post, obviously in the DM, and more conversations lead to more opportunities. And then ultimately, conversions. You can't make money unless you're talking to the right people. And a lot of people miss this piece.
Yes. Okay. Selfishly, I'm going to ask, what are your top either like perspectives, like frame of mind to look at DMs, or top tips if you want to bring it down to the tactics level? I feel like I don't know. It's just
So
because I'm an elder millennial or something. I'm
yeah,
not
no,
great in the
it's a great
DMs.
question. So I know that my audience loves watching my lifestyle, and I say that because I travel. I do a lot of different kinds of exercise. I just got these kangaroo jumps that are like these ski boots on this like squishy thing where you can bounce and jump. And and I love the sunset. So I'm always near the ocean where the sunsets are phenomenal, whether it's the east or the west coast. So I know that my audience likes all my hats, likes my bright colors, loves my little doggy. I don't say, look at my cute dog. If you watch my stories even today, I talk about how I had to listen to him cry for 2 hours because when I was in California, I let him sleep in bed with me, but we don't do that here. So he cried in his crate for 2 hours and kind of what that was like. And so then I would ask a question with the engagement sticker. Do you let your dog sleep with you? Now, the reason I'm saying this is because I do stories pretty much on the daily, but they're in alignment with my core values, with the branding, with the energy, with what we teach. It has more of a personal feel because most people watching your stories are your current followers, unless your content's getting shared into someone else's stories. And so I open up conversations or they come to me from my stories. Like people ask me questions all the time and it opens up that conversation that we're talking about here. So that is my number one is through stories. Obviously, we do use ManyChat for automation in the DM, like comment free if you want to be on our free webinar, and we instantly get the signups in the DM. We get a lot of conversions to our email list from the automation that we use when people comment on a post. When I'm on a live, I'll tell them to say a certain word, write a certain word in the comments, and they'll get the automation in the DM too. So we do use software like we talked about, and ManyChat is what we use for that. I don't program any of that. That's not my brain. That's one of my team members. But it's all they need to do is tell me the keywords, and I'm like, got it. Great. I'm on it. So we get a lot of great conversions that way. But I'm really big in being in the DM. I'm there, and so I'll talk about three tactics once you've gotten someone into the DM. So as you all know, or maybe you don't, you can send a text in the DM. You can send links, which you should never lead with a link. You can send a voice message, or you can do video. So I always do video, but my little hack and my ninja tip is to take that video, put it in stories, add captions always if you're going to send a video in the DM, because 87% of people don't have the volume on. And so you want to make sure the captions are on the video so they can read it. And we'll send reminders for our webinars. I'll send reminders for people that are talking to me about our pro coaching program. And I'll do it in video, and they'll see the backdrop of my life. Again, this goes to branding. Like, they might see my rainbow bookshelf over there, or they might see the ocean, and the energy of the background is just as important as the foreground. So I'm very cognizant of what is behind me when I'm doing these videos and the lighting of the videos. So that's like how you're sending those messages is so important. And we also have gifts. So if you search Subi Zimmerman or Subi in the gifts on Instagram, you'll see all my fun gifts. Like I have so many, like I'm doing the hula hoop, I'm dancing, I'm like peace out. And so I'll often send like a Subi, my graphic designer made some really cute gifts. And so again, it goes back to branding. So I don't want to use the gifts that everybody else is using. I want my own customized one. Now, listen, if you don't have a graphic designer, you can create your avatar and do the same thing with your avatar. But I like to stand out. I like to be different. I like to be like unique and for people to say, wait, how did you do that? That's so cool. So that again leads to a conversation, right?
Amazing. Thank
Yeah, so
you for getting
that's
into
just a little bit. That's just a little bit of the
just,
DM.
yeah, just a little nugget. Thank you so
Yes,
much for sharing
you're
some
welcome.
specifics. I think that's so
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
Since you are the Instagram expert, do you have a story that demonstrates the power of marketing on Instagram specifically?
Yeah. Well, let's take this like, because you're all about branding. I always, even back in the day, always thought about branding. I like the name of my store was Subi Doo. Like I wanted it to be so like on brand and it had a bee. And like I'm the busy bee that flies around, pollinating, turning honey into money kind of thing. Like there was always a how can I be different than everyone else that does what I do kind of feel. And how can I be on brand depending on what it is I'm selling? So when I had my store at the Cape, it was all about the preppy Lily Pulitzer colors and the vibe and energy of Cape Cod and Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. And when people came into my store, I even sprayed Bobby Brown Beach. So it smelled like the beach in my store. So let's talk like branding is what you see, what you smell, what you remember, the emotion that it's elicited. So that's one little thing there from my store. One of my other businesses, you probably don't know this, but I taught scrapbooking and I was on QVC. And and even that, I had to be like all on brand, but they had all these rules and I hated their rules. Their rules were like, you have to wear a solid color and your nails can only be a French manicure and blah, blah. And I'm like, ugh, I don't like all these rules. This is like, I want like neon popping yellow on my nails. But anyway, I'm kind of a rule breaker, but for QVC, I did not break any rules because I wanted to get invited back and I did. So I say this because energy is everything. So when I think of brand, I think of energy. Like I think of what is the energy you're putting out that you want to attract back. And it doesn't mean you have to be an extrovert like me or love bright colors and wear crazy hats. It's kind of like, what is the essence of you? I think if people thought about what is the essence of you or the brand that you're building, what does it stand for? What is the emotion? What is the reason that you even exist? Like, what is the impact that you want to make in the world? And when you think deeply about that, at least when I have, because when I used to sell physical products my whole life, and man, I love making money, like the exchange of money for product. But when you build an online business and you literally can make an impact and people cry because of what you've done to change their lives in a good way, like happy tears, that to me is priceless. And I know I'm not like literally answering your question, but I think these lessons, these life lessons of what does it mean to have a successful business? How can I grow my own brand? How can I stand out? And I always suggest that people lean into impact before income. Because when you do, the money always follows. Trust me, I have years of experience with this, and you just become that person, that go-to person. So I know I didn't answer your question. I hope that was good.
It was fantastic. So much goodness in there. And we'll leave our listeners with two things. First, I understand that you have the 3 keys to make money on Instagram from your ideal client. So we'll link that, but tell us what they'll find when they go there.
Oh, it's just a great free training. A lot of people think they know how to use Instagram or they've been on it for a while and they're like, I don't need to learn anything. And let me tell you something, even people that have been on it for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, whenever they come to one of their trainings, they're like, oh my God, I never thought of it that way. I never knew how to optimize that or do that. You will walk away learning and understanding like a more holistic way to use this amazing free marketing tool and really feel good about it. So that's what I want your listeners to know.
Amazing. And in addition to that, what would you love for people listening to do with everything that we talked about today? What should be their first step?
Yeah. So my call to action, my CTA is to always have you guys come find me over on Instagram at the Instagram expert, no matter what the last post is. So find me, come to the Instagram expert and then say, I heard you on at Kaye Putnam's podcast. If you have a question, ask it there, or you can come and slide into my DM and ask it there. And I would love to know what your biggest takeaway was. I would love to hear, like, what is it that is really resonating from this conversation? Because we did talk about a lot of good things.
Yeah. Amazing, Subi. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, sharing your time. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for listening. Like Sue said, if you learned something new, please take the extra moment, head over to Instagram, connect with the Instagram expert, and I'm at Kaye Putnam on Instagram, and let us know what your biggest takeaway from this episode was. Super appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed the show today. I will see you on the next one.